Hey guys, so in this video I want to show you very quickly, or as quick as possible, shooting between RAW and JPEG. I'm sure there's hundreds of videos like this out there on the internet, but I'm going to explain it in my way and how I understand it. I always shoot in RAW. When I first started, I used to shoot in RAW and JPEG, so it would save 2 copies to your SD card. But then after a while, I just thought it's just better to shoot in RAW. And I've purposely just took these photos, as you can see here, on purpose, overexposed, which is the worst one. Yeah, this one. Let's get right down to the very bottom. So these two that I'm clicking on here, this one at the very end, if I click this little eye icon there, the end photo here, it tells you 1/80 frames, 1/80 shutter, f2.8, and an ISO of 5000. So that's how I overexposed on here. You might overexpose accidentally if you're first starting out, or if you've got it on automatic or something, you might overexpose. I don't know, you might have like a really slow shutter or something like that. But either way, this is the JPEG version as well, look. Sorry, this is the RAW version, 24 megabytes in size. Note that for 1 second. 24 megabytes of data in that photo, okay? Now if we go over to the JPEG version on the left here, that JPEG version has only 3 megabytes of data in that image. So it's a smaller file size, so obviously you can fit a lot more on your SD card as well, but it holds less data in the image. So if you have an overexposed photo like this in JPEG, you're going to struggle to sort of get back, like the highlights are blown. Yeah, so I'm going to show you here that those highlights are gone, they're dead. But in RAW, they're not. So let's start with JPEG. Okay, let's go up to the edit section here. Now, the first thing you want to do here is try and pull down the highlights. Okay, that's as far as we can go. Look, -100 on the highlights. And you can see here, look, like you've lost all the detail there. Let's try bringing the whites down, see what that does. So you're bringing a little bit more detail back into here, but still not enough. So then you think, right, let's bring exposure down. So if the exposure is going to bring the exposure down on the whole photo. Now look, you brought it down there, and then you're going to start getting weird looking photo. I mean, it just looks terrible, doesn't it? You can see around here on the left hand side, those highlights are absolutely blown, and that's what we mean by blown highlights like that. So you've lost all the detail. It is unrecoverable. Okay, so I am now going to right click, copy edit settings. So all these settings that I've just reduced on the JPEG version, right? I'm going to go to the RAW version, and I'm going to paste those exact same settings in there, and hope for this video that it looks a lot better than that. So Control V, boom, and there we go. See, look at that. You can see, apart from obviously the window there that's blown out, but the subject, which is that little, I don't know what it's, some sort of like smelly thing in the living room, that's recovered. You can see all that. So let's flick through JPEG. Look, this is the JPEG version with the same settings. Look, disgusting. Look at that. And this is the RAW version. And this, don't forget, this was the worst. This was the most highest exposed photo that I took, because I took some here. What was that? That was 2,500 ISO. Whereas the one up here was 5,000, so it was double. And I've still managed to recover the photo shooting in RAW. So that's why I always shoot in RAW. Always. Just on the off chance that something, you might be shooting a photo and I just don't want to take that chance. I don't want to take that risk at all. But you just have so much freedom shooting in RAW, and you're able to save the photos like I have done here. It's not much of a photo really, but I'll straighten up a little bit like that. Let's do a bit of a portrait crop, there we go. Boom, and then if we put the same crop in on the JPEG version. There we go. So which version do you like best, JPEG or RAW? Yeah. Obviously, when you're first starting out, I do highly recommend you shooting in RAW. If you do feel really, really confident that you can nail the exposure every time, then shoot in JPEG. But a lot of the time now, I've never had an overexposed photo, ever. At the beginning, I used to, every now and again, but I haven't. But I just like that extra freedom, knowing that you have a lot more room to play with when you're shooting in RAW. So yeah. That is my demonstration of why you would shoot in RAW versus JPEG. Like again, like I said, you can shoot in both if you want to, but you get so much more flexibility when you're shooting in RAW. Yeah, so really hope that video has helped you. If you was wondering, should I shoot in JPEG and RAW? Here you go. Make your own mind up now. Now, I will, probably today or tomorrow, I'll record a video on how I edit my sports photos. In Lightroom, so stay tuned for that, keep an eye out for that. But yeah, if you have any questions regarding this or anything else regarding sports photography or videography, then let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.